No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
The smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host Donna is joining by Zoom. How are you, Donna? And Maria. Here's Maria coming too.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome.
Hey.
Hey, Maria. So, lots of things to talk about in the news today. Where do we start? It's been a very giving season so far. I say something that I would not have expected it to take the course it did. But Joe Biden pardoned his son. This is the same alleged coke freak / tax evader / whatever else he's done. And Joe Biden, he said for years he was not going to pardon him. And guess what happened during the week? Bang, pardoned him. And I'm like, well, if you didn't just prove me right all along. But all these people, all these like moderate Democrats are like, I'm glad he did that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, this is not how we're supposed to work. We're supposed to respect the law. He didn't even get sentenced yet, and he's been pardoned. So that really just rubbed me the wrong way. If you want to give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. Donna, Maria, what's y'all's take on Joe Blow giving the pardons out to his ne'er-do-well son?
I think he shot himself in the foot personally. I really honestly don't have a problem with him pardoning his son. It's not like he made him ambassador to France.
Right.
But I feel like if he was going to do that and you want to project some sense of integrity, pardon everybody with a criminal drug offense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Pardon Leonard Peltier.
Yes.
There's a lot of people you could pardon now that you have that pen and you're on your way out and you don't have to worry about being reelected. There's some really good righteous justice work that you could do.
Right.
He scripted the narrative in a way that is detrimental to him. But I really don't understand the outrage when this is the thing that Donald Trump does on a daily. When come January 21st, he will have pardoned everybody who stormed the Capitol.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to say anything.
Oh no, I'll say.
And
something,
nobody said anything. Nobody said anything when he put Jared Kushner's father up for ambassador to France. So, I'm sorry, I just can't get upset about this kind of news.
Okay, Donna, any thoughts there?
Yeah. So the problem is we're supposed to be the not Trump party, right?
Right.
And we're not. because we're doing the same things. We, not meaning 88.5, but we meaning the people of the United States who claim to, be the moral,
Yes.
right, authority, right, to some degree. And so if we just do what they do, then we're them,
Exactly.
right? It makes no sense.
But we're already I don't even want to put myself in that category, but they're already them. Like there's, this is what we talk about when people say that there's no difference between the two, right? Let's stop pretending that we don't have a corrupt justice system. Let's stop pretending that if, Hunter Biden were Hunter Williams, that he would be buried under the jail.
Of course.
As many are.
Yeah.
As many are. And here's the other problem. The other problem, and people are going to be like, well, you ain't gonna. So listen, you guys, if Trump had pardoned his son, we would point the finger and scream corruption.
Yes.
There's so many choices, though, on the Trump side. Because it's our guy, right? And I use our loosely because I've, voted Democrat and I just got to claim it. I can't distance myself from them after I've, endorsed. So if it had been Trump pardoning his son, the Democrats would be tearing him apart.
Yes.
Right now. But the other day, one of our local persons who was a delegate to the DNC said, I am glad that Biden pardoned Hunter. And then I sent you guys this video of Joe Biden standing on the floor of the House saying, if you have a piece of crack the size of a nickel, you're going to jail for 5 years, no opportunity for parole, nothing.
Right.
And so what he just said to America is you guys like to pretend there's a real difference between the people who are running the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And yes, there are differences. So don't line up the lines with this nonsense. But you can't claim moral superiority.
Exactly.
You cannot.
Exactly.
That's God.
Right. All right. So let me issue the surly disclaimer real quick because we have people calling in already. The opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF Tampa. And the opinions of the callers are solely theirs. They are on their own there. So let's talk to Jack in Dover. Hi, Jack.
Hi.
What's
Good
up?
to hear you all's voices. It's been a while since I've called.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I would like to see USF campus take an opportunity of this situation with Hunter Biden by promoting a poster that would have all of the people pardoned. It's been a while since I've looked at the list, but career criminals and drug dealers, and then have a larger size picture of Hunter Biden in the center of it. And then you could give that to the people that sign up for sustainable contributions as one of their free gifts. I think it would be a great opportunity.
Well, thank you for that idea, Jack.
You're welcome.
All right.
Oh, and twofold, because we have to get the message out there that in Florida, fentanyl carries I think it's called attempted murder conviction or where you can be charged with attempted murder if you possess any amount of fentanyl whatsoever. So possibly incorporate that into the poster, too.
Okay.
Just say no to fentanyl.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome, ladies. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Stephen in St. Petersburg. Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, the Joe Biden crime bill signed into law by Bill Clinton, and you can watch it on YouTube 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When he expressly and bragged on the Senate floor, if you get caught with crack one time, you do mandatory 5 years in prison. And he goes, we need to keep these people from our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our brothers, our families, and da-da-da-da. The Joe Biden crime bill, which people are not aware of. You can watch it on YouTube.
Yep.
Now, with this pardon, which goes back to 2014, when Hunter Biden was made head of a Ukraine energy company, and the Ukrainians started investigating Hunter Biden. And Joe Biden, anybody can find this out, fired the prosecuting attorney. You're not going to get any money, Ukraine, if Hunter Biden doesn't stay head, the CEO of a energy company in Ukraine called Burisma. So this whole thing ties into that, let alone the crack charges and the laptop, which everybody lied about, and the whole thing. And it's sickening that he's getting a pardon in the face of everybody. Now, other people on the other side, immediately when you bring this up, they'll change the subject, almost cultic-like, and start talking about Donald Trump and how much they hate Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has nothing to do with what we just witnessed, which is just sickening that everything that they were lying about Hunter Biden, he just walks scot-free and doesn't have to do any prison time. I mean, they got him on gun charges. They got him on crack possession, sex with a minor. I mean, the list goes on, let alone the Burisma situation in the Ukraine where they were laundering money. And it was going right back to Joe Biden. So it is sickening to me, and it has nothing to do with partisan politics. It has to do with our country and our politicians being upright and being an example.
Exactly.
Representing the people. So,
right. All right. Thanks,
I'm
Stephen.
glad you brought it up when you started your show today. I compliment you for that.
Well, Joe Biden is one of my sore spots for 30 plus years now. So yeah, anytime I can point to something and say, see, I told you he's not good. All right. Thanks.
You brought that up on, the last thing I was going to say, on The View, right? If you go watch The View, you can watch it on YouTube, Whoopi Goldberg. And one lady really tactfully brought up how sickening this is and how we've been lied to by the media and everything on Joe Biden. And then Whoopi Goldberg goes, well, it's not just lying. It's not a lie if you look at it in this broader aspect, even though...
Yeah, no, it's a lie.
I know, she just couldn't admit it, that it was a lie, and she was trying to justify it. But anyway, love the show today. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, we got...
It's the hypocrisy for me.
It's the hypocrisy, exactly. How dare you...
Because other people's kids have to pay the price. And
Yes.
other people's kids' lives will never be the same, and other families will never be the same.
Right.
But there's a stark contrast here. There's no contrast between the two parties, but there is a stark contrast here between the privileged and not.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of CEOs, since Stephen brought up CEOs, the CEO of United Healthcare, one of the major health insurers in the country, was shot in the street in New York yesterday, and the press calls it an assassination, and I'm like, y'all don't watch enough Dateline because it's the wife. The wife put a hit on him, but there's all kind and some. In some quarters on the internets, folks are celebrating, and it's just like, hey, good. One of these hyper-capitalist, United Healthcare apparently has one study done shows that United Healthcare has the highest rate of refusals to endorse care or underwrite care, and he was actually the CEO was actually on his way to a meeting to brag about his bottom line. So that was another thing that caught my eye because I have a true crime watching fetish. But any comments on that, Donna or Maria?
Yeah, so the media has the celebration on the internet is reached the mainstream media, and the MSN, which tends to ignore anything that's not particularly salacious when it comes to things that happen to the wealthy, is saying that the social media is having a good time with this, and that people just even without knowing who did it or what the motive was, people are talking about there's a bipartisan conversation that's emerged about the state of healthcare in the United States. And I think that's the real story, is that there's always going to be people that say, oh my gosh, you guys, I can't believe you're, making fun of the dead. But you can't even hear those people because the revelry is so overwhelming.
Right.
That's the story in this.
Exactly. And once again, if we had universal health care, everything would be great.
Do you think that we'll ever know why he was killed, though? Or do you think we're gonna blame the wife and it's going to be a Dateline story? Or
it's going to end up a Dateline story one way or another, no matter who killed him, because that's Dateline's milieu. So,
Right.
from looking at the video that was published, I don't see that as a professional hit. That's somebody who's, maybe watched a lot of Dateline and bought him a hoodie and bang, you're dead. But to be that good a shot, you have to be practiced at it, because I think he only shot one time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was twice? What? Once or twice, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. But he was a pretty good distance from him. It wasn't right up in his face like John Lennon. So I'm interested to see how the story unfolds. Let's put it that way. But one way or another, it'll be on Dateline, and I'm pretty sure my man Keith Morrison's going to be the narrator. So, let's see, Fran in Largo. Hi, Fran.
Hi. You were just talking about what I was calling about. Yes, I would definitely call this an assassination. Who knows whether there's other people involved, if it's a group or not. And did you hear that on the bullets were engraved words like denial? They said the 3 Ds of the insurance industry or something, denial and something else.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah. So this was thought out by somebody, whether it was a personal issue or bigger than that. But, you said it's awful to make fun with dead people, someone that's been killed. But for God's sake, the greed in this industry is indescribable. It's obscene. And, what else? I'm glad you made your disclaimer, by the way. What else can people expect anymore? We have become so lawless. People sometimes have to take things into their own hands, and that's my opinion. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for letting me express it.
Thanks, Fran. Bye-bye. So, yeah, I mean, I can't think of a person that I know who hasn't been denied health care at some point by an insurance company. So, yeah, maybe instead of celebrating bottom lines, we should be finding ways to make it work, because the insurance companies get paid. It's not like they're giving away free care. Let's see. We got email from Margaret, says, hello, the pardon of Hunter Biden is an insignificant detail amongst all the chaos and real issues we should focus on. Yes, it could have been handled better, but let's move on to essential topics. Well, to me, the integrity of
don't say.
Yeah. That's essential to me, is that somebody who's claimed to be such a great guy and all this kind of stuff shows his face to where everybody can see it, and now, either you're for the move or you're against it. So let's see. Somebody just says thank.
Well, that's brilliant, right? To just write off like the fundamental integrity that the Democratic Party has used as its barometer of the nation's moral health and direction.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And to just say, we shouldn't be talking about that. It's not a big deal.
Yes.
It absolutely is a big deal for the mother whose son got 25 years for a crack rock. It absolutely is, ma'am.
Exactly. Let's see. So
wow.
That's privilege talking, Margaret.
Ugh.
Let's see. This is from Thomas. Are you going to stop paying taxes that pay for bombs and ammunition that are killing innocent people every day in Gaza? His only son. I have never liked Biden myself. War hawk. What morals? They left this country hundreds of years ago. Amen. Let's see. This is from Jack. Hola, surly gals, rather. My initial awful thought was pardoning his son is DJT next. I'm sick to my stomach. Sincerely, Jack. Yep. Probably. Let's see. DeMarco says, nobody should be above the law, but Hunter Biden didn't try to overthrow U.S. democracy. True, but how do Democrats now take the moral outrage stance when their dude did the same thing that the other dude is doing? I mean, that's the whole point, is he's ruined every single claim to moral outrage.
How much you want to bet? These are the same moderate Democrats that say things like, he wouldn't have gotten shot in the back had he complied. These are the same people who think that non-compliance with the police officer's order is worthy of a public extrajudicial killing. Right. These are the same exact people. And I find it almost unbearable. And I don't normally get, this up in the air about this stuff. I try to find a way to laugh at all of it. But this is really, this is revelatory at in the least.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's a message from Karen in Dunedin. It is a shame that people are celebrating his death. I work for UHC. He has 2 children. I don't know if it was a disgruntled employee, a loved one dying over lack of coverage, or his wife. I support universal health care, but I need to work. All right, now we got a bunch of callers in the queue.
I know we do.
All right, we're first talking to Anonymous in Clearwater. Hi, Anonymous.
Hello, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
One thing people have to realize about these HMOs when they trade off their Medicare or whatever another for one of those and think they're getting a deal, by law, they cannot come first. These are publicly traded corporations, and the stockholder comes first. That is the law. So for someone to trade their, you got to read. And as far as Hunter Biden getting pardoned, that's just politics as usual. But I would like to say this. Hats off to the sheriff of Hillsborough County. We're turning down once he got in there and they started bitching about he upheld the law, but it wasn't to someone's liking. And now he is seeing exactly the kind of character Trump is, too, because Trump raved about him. But as soon as he said, whoa, you want politics, not law and order, Trump threw him under the bus. No matter what politicians here or there go, Trump is a man without character.
All right.
I have been personally involved in an indirect manner with this guy, with a relative of mine who was directly involved with him. And he refused to do business with Donald Trump when he was running around New York with Cohn. And for that very reason, he is a man of no character.
Right.
His teacher was Cohn.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And you can follow it right down. And at the end of the line, he threw Cohn under the bus.
Yep.
When Cohn was dying of AIDS and people were worried about, is he a homo or whatever they wanted to call him back then, Trump said, he's just one of my lawyers. I got lots of lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
And never even said, gee, sorry you're sick.
Right.
And that was that.
Okay.
So he throws them all under the bus. And,
well, yeah.
And hats off to the sheriff for realizing, the law was minister or not. The law was you don't do this. He did it, so he arrested him. Well, that wasn't the political liking, and he could see that on the horizon, and he had enough sense to jump. And with Trump throwing him under the bus and lying like hell and all of that, he knows he made a good decision. And again, buddy, if you're listening, my hat's off to you.
All right. Thanks so much for calling.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. We'll get to that in a little while. Let's get through all of our calls here. Mary in Safety Harbor.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Mary Poole, and I'm from Safety Harbor, Florida. Longtime supporter of MNF, longtime feminist, teach at USF Women's Studies. And I hadn't been listening to your show for a long time, and I was really looking forward to listening to it today before I go in to teach, because these are very difficult times, and I think we as women, as feminists, as people who care about trans community, LGBTQ plus community, need support and need to stand together. And quite frankly, I'm very disturbed by your show today and disappointed. I understand that you have that the issue with Hunter Biden is an issue, but I think you're playing into the right-wing agenda and you're playing into the media by spending time emphasizing this. When women are under attack and when under President Trump's upcoming government, we have people who are sexual predators being put in as the head of almost every single military agency, where we basically are being told as women that it doesn't matter what men do to women. They are going to be basically reinforcing the sexual predators and so many other things that are threatening women. The Supreme Court hearing about trans care and what's going on in Tennessee, which is horrifying to the trans community. And, you know, I understand that there is wrong on both sides of the political spectrum, but I also think you're engaging in what I would call a false equivalency. The wrong that President Biden and others have done is certainly there, but let's look at the threat and let's look at the benefit to women and the progressive community that has occurred under the Democratic presidents as opposed to under Trump and the upcoming Trump regime. And I'm very disappointed in your dialogue today.
Well, I'm sorry you're disappointed, Mary, but let me ask you a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a second wave feminist or a fourth wave?
I'm not going to define myself. I am a woman who's lived a long time, who has grown, and I am a feminist who believes in intersectionality, who believes in the inclusion of everyone, who believes in equal rights and justice and right to express our own lives and identities and autonomies for all. I am not going to be labeled as a particular wave of feminists. I think that's insulting.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for calling. But
I mean, really,
oh, wait.
Even ask me that.
Donna just walked in.
I could feel that there was more, and I'd like to hear it because I'm going to excoriate you when you get off the phone. But go ahead.
Well, go ahead and excoriate.
I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a patient woman.
What would you like to say? What
I will say it when you get done.
Okay, well, that's
It's
good.
my
Say
show, not yours.
Say it where I can't respond, okay?
Well, you
Say
can call.
where
You can text us back. We'll read it on the air.
Okay.
Promise.
Excoriate me all you want. All I'm saying is that women are under threat.
Man,
we
what
understand.
are we supposed to do about that? I flew. Wait a minute. Just stop.
Going on here.
I flew
Don't
to
tell me to
D.C.
stop.
several
How dare
times.
you
I went to
tell me to
SCOTUS.
All right, we're getting out of hand now. Okay, yeah. All right, go ahead. Go ahead and.
I flew to D.C. like 4 times.
Yes.
Protesting women's rights.
You got arrested once.
I got arrested once. We brought Sarah Parker into the studio to talk. I still mentor her and support her when she doesn't know, that when she can't figure out who is telling the truth around her, because that's the plight of a high profile activist. Asking me how I know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get these armchair quarterbacks, right, that call in and say, you can't talk about that because this is happening. You know what? I have a home economy. I have a job. I have an adult child. I used to take care of my parents. You know what? Novel idea. Women, if we're feminists, we know this. Women can do more than one thing at a time. So we can talk about the moral decline that's on display in Washington, and we can also be sad for the women's rights that have been eroded. We can have two conversations, and just because you don't want us to have one of those conversations doesn't mean we're going to have it. As a matter of fact, we're going to do a part 2 weeks from now.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, we talk about feminist issues every week because we are intersectional feminists. And we do label ourselves because there is a difference. And the difference in this conversation is, all right, we are pointing out the absolute hypocrisy that Joe Biden has put on display for the whole world that I always knew was there, but finally it took something like this to change some people's minds. Joe Biden has ruined this country probably more than, I would say about as much as Mitch McConnell has. Because if you look back at all the junctions in time where things could have been different, namely, and this is something, Mary, that you will remember well, I'm sure, the Clarence Thomas confirmation hearing. That is when I saw Joe Biden for what he was. And I'm like, this dude is horrible. If it weren't for Joe Biden, we wouldn't have Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court.
You know what? I am exhausted. I am exhausted with Democrats that say the fire in our house is smaller. Right. Like scale matters. Right. It's still going to burn the whole house down if you don't.
That is a perfect analogy. Perfect analogy.
The house is still fire.
Right. Just because the killer is across the street doesn't mean he can't make it into your house.
Right.
Okay.
Silly.
Yeah. So, yeah, Donna surprised me in the midst of talking to Mary and just walked right on in here. And I'm like,
because I knew I was, I went to Starbucks because I knew it was going to be a wild show today. I knew that when you started chastising Joe Biden about this indiscretion, right, that people were going to start calling in and doing all types of pretzel yoga poses to justify this. But we just ran a 100-day campaign on moral superiority.
Right. And yeah, nobody, and this is exactly what I was what I prefaced the whole thing with was, it shocks me how many people think this way. Let's talk to Gary in St. Petersburg. Hi, Gary.
Hey. Number one, Anita Hill rocks. And number two, Starbucks sucks. But, does anybody, they don't even have espresso.
They do, don't they?
No. You know what? I went in there once and I wanted an espresso. She goes, we don't have that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's all I buy.
Just have really strong coffee.
You know, I don't go there that often because
you make a frappuccino without espresso.
You don't.
Anyway.
They have espresso. I think you should go back and check that out.
Yeah, because I think you got the wrong barista or something. Maybe been their first day.
I promise you. Gary, it's there. It's there.
There is espresso at Starbucks, believe me.
No, she told me they don't. Anyway.
Yeah, temporary. Thank you, Gary.
Dunkin' Donuts is better.
All right, so we're not endorsing coffee brands today.
I think he can. We can't. I've been boycotting Starbucks for the reasons that we won't go into today.
Me too.
Yeah, but I had a breakdown this morning.
Okay.
Sorry about that, y'all.
And Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Does anybody remember Tom Ford? I think was his name. The mayor of Ontario, when he smoked crack on TV.
Oh, yes.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Good times, good times.
Thanks so much for calling, Gary.
Thanks, Gary. Well, that was a
I love your
perfect.
show.
Thank you.
Absolutely love your show.
Thank you.
That was a
Bye-bye.
perfect follow-up
Yes.
to the disgruntled caller.
Right.
Yeah.
Scott in Safety Harbor. Hi, Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would just like to make a quick comment, and then I'll be done. When you were talking to, I guess her name was Mary,
Yes.
somebody made a statement like, "This is my show." Well, it's not your show. It's WNS show, and they allow you to speak on it.
Yeah, they told me.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, they told me.
Just keep it in mind.
Yeah. I wish I could say more, but you know, they told us.
I can take it. I'm just pointing.
Oh
out
no! I don't. I'm not
we
upset
like
with
to
you
be
for
on.
saying it.
We like to be on the show.
I'm not upset with you for saying that. I'm not upset. But
it was kind of a profound statement to say. This is
well,
mine.
I take it back, and you want to say more?
Thank you. No,
all right. Okay. Gotcha.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye.
Bye.
So let me address that. Yeah, it's not my show per se. It is my time, right?
There you
I'm
go.
a volunteer, which I need to kind of reinforce because of the way things have gotten shaped lately. I am a volunteer, and I put myself in this chair, call across the country when I'm overwhelmed with trying to win these Democratic elections, regardless of what these people are doing in Washington to me and my fellows, my compatriots. And that deserves some respect, right? I show up here every week from afar or from my house, and I give to that, and I'm going to say that should stand in the place of it's my show. Right. If we're going to do semantics, but this is what I mean, right? When people call in here, they take their time, they call into the show. As long as they're not being unreasonable, as long as they're not being nasty, people have their say.
Right. And we have a good time.
Because it's your show too. It's our show. So yeah,
I don't think anybody can say we don't.
I'm getting close to this not being my show. I might have run the course here, you guys. Seriously.
And we do entertain opinions from all across the spectrum. And the only thing we don't indulge in is anti-vaxxing and other anti-science things. And Chris in Clearwater knows that well, but he behaves himself most of the time. So we get along. We listen to his other things.
As long as he does. But when you say Chris,
you about to get it.
Because it's about to happen. You know, I just find that there's an extraordinary amount of Karening going on since the election. I have personally been the victim of it. I left my house the other day for the first time in 1 week.
Oh, don't tell me somebody called the police on you.
No, because I ignore most people, right? And I do fake apologies when I want people to back up off me, right? When I know that they're going to continue to be unreasonable and there's no way out except to say, you know what, my bad.
Yeah.
Right? I'm good at that. You've seen me do it.
I've seen you do it.
All
It's
right.
disgusting. But that's my privilege talking.
But sometimes, you know what I'm saying, when people, hey, you're a guest here, and you gotta, even if you're there to give money or time or whatever, people make it very clear what this is and where you are and who you are in it.
Right.
And so you have two options. Fight with the people who have unspoken ownership of the space, or say, I'm sorry, and maintain your presence in the space if it's important to you. And that could be Starbucks, a football game, a job, a place where you volunteer. It could be any place. Mm-hmm. But I, am aware of who I am and what that means as I move through the world. And I hold that in enough regard to keep myself from, being harmed.
Right.
More than I already am.
Can I just add to that? Mm-hmm. I think that what you're also saying is that these people are making our job harder.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. With their nonsense.
Right.
And rather than doing the inner work and talking to their fellow Karens, the 54% that voted for Republicans, right? They don't want to do that work. No. They don't want to challenge each other. They want to talk at us as if we owe them something other than all of the labor that we've already poured into this. We have a right to our opinions because we've seen it up close.
Yeah.
And Mary in Safety Harbor is calling back. So let's see what she has to say. Well, before I click the on button, we're all going to maintain civil tones. We're not going to holler.
I'm not
at
going
each
to say
other.
anything.
All right. Let's just see what she has to say.
I'm going to watch my mouth. This gal is going to watch her mouth.
All right. Hi, Mary.
Good morning. I don't have a lot of time because I'm running to teach a class, but I would just like to say there was nothing uncivil in my conversation with you all. I expressed an opinion that was different from you all. I was not yelling.
You were yelling, Mary.
No, I absolutely was not.
Okay.
I absolutely was not. And
I don't remember her yelling.
She was
she yelling?
Calling me. Excuse me. Can I have a minute to finish? I'll be off in a second. You can claim your show.
Go ahead.
Okay. All I was presenting was a different point of view and a different perception, and suggesting. I didn't even say I disagreed with what you were saying, but what I was saying was I was suggesting that maybe your priorities could be placed in a different place. That was my opinion.
But Mary,
it was my experience and it was my perception. I was then cut off. I've been referred to as nonsense. You have no idea who I am. You have no idea. You brag about what you've done.
Oh, wow.
I've done as much as you have and more.
I wasn't bragging.
You
I
don't
was
know who I
setting
am.
the record.
Let Mary talk. Let Mary talk.
If you're really a feminist, you would listen to all sides and not portray someone who disagrees with you as nonsense.
All right.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Bye. All right. Come back. Come on. Oh, Donna. All right. Okay. Chris in Clearwater. Hi, Chris.
Oh, good morning, ladies.
Did you hear me talking about you? Is that why you called?
Yeah, and I was tempted to call anyway. So.
Okay. Well, perfect.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention before I get into the meat of my call on another topic, that I heard a couple weeks ago that you allowed another caller to criticize those who have done their research on vaccines, and I think that's really an anti-intellectual stance. And
We're not talking about vaccines, Chris.
No, I know we're not. That's not what I call to compliment you on avoiding the trap of not faulting your own party or not faulting your own group. You're talking about with the pardons with Biden. That's what I called about. But I just wanted to say that, as I said, that was anti-intellectual to criticize someone who would want to do their own reading, research, and spend the valuable time, the time that is very rewarding to help warn others. And, in an anti-intellectual environment, that's where tyrants can...
Okay, you need to speed up a bit, Chris, because now the queue's stacked up, so...
say that's the environment that tyrants of any stripe, of any particular party, just loves, that when people self-censor. But I do compliment you on the avoiding the moral relativism of not just, saying that just because one party does something or a particular personality does something that they should be let off the hook. When both parties, they really are irrelevant because they keep changing so much over the years. One's anti-war, then the other one's pro-war. Now Republicans, I was speaking as an independent. I'm noticing this from paying attention to all sorts of news sources.
Okay. I'm afraid, Chris, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I'm afraid that I got to let you go now because now the backup queue is backing up. Mm-hmm. So,
finish with one sentence is that when you are an independent, that you can pay attention to both news sources, both sides, and see how they're such a farce, and they're both going to slit your throat at the end of the day. They're all really two different sides of the same coin.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Mike in Sarasota. Hi, Mike.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I would like to back up Mary because I have to agree with her. I think it was presumptuous of you to assume that your experience was such that it dwarfed anything that she could say.
I would bet, sorry, Mike, to interrupt, but I would bet $1 million that Mary is a white woman of at least middle age. Donna and Maria have a wholly different perspective of every issue in the world because they are black women in America. It's a lot different to be a black woman in America than it is to be a white woman in America.
Well, let me respond to that.
Okay.
You have no idea what her background has been. And there are some white women who have done far more for racial relations in the United States than you have. For instance, Hillary Clinton, I would say, has done far more for that. Now, my second point...
Hillary Clinton? Come on.
Well, hang on. Hang on. Now, my major point is this. One of the dangers of being presumptuous is that some black women can make horrible mistakes. And I will refer you now to Kamala Harris. On the campaign trail or shortly before it, she proposed that the Senate relax its 60-40 rule for approval on issues that the Senate leadership considered appropriate. Now, think where we would be right now if that proposal had been accepted. The Senate is our last firewall against Republican extremism. And if the 60-40 rule was gone, we would be much, much closer.
Okay, can you land the plane here, Mike? Because the queue is still backed up.
I'm saying that some black, this may shock you, but some black females can make horrible political mistakes.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, duh. So can white men. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but
thanks, Mike. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Dylan in St. Louis, Missouri?
Yes, Missouri.
Wow. Okay.
I wanted to follow up with an anti-war statement saying if you're not aware of the U.S. deploying its own personnel program and launch long-range missiles from Ukraine, we're probably closer to nuclear war now than the Cuban Missile Crisis. And go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead. You still got a minute and a half, so.
Okay. I wanted to bring up someone who's fighting for that peace. I don't know if you're aware of Chairman Omali Yeshitela.
No.
He's a big member of the African People's Socialist Party.
Okay.
And the U.S. government is attacking him right now, him and two other members of the Huru movement. And we were hoping that you guys would consider doing an interview with him.
Email your details to the station and we'll look at it, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's see. Jack in Sarasota. Hi, Jack.
I don't know if that's me, but I'm Jack in Tampa. But
Jack in Tampa. Okay, yeah, because everybody in Sarasota is named Stevens. So.
Okay. Well, I used to be in Sarasota, so maybe you guys know more about me than I thought. But anyway, I heard a little piece before I had to go into a store on your talking about the outrage over the Biden, kind of pardon of his son, and I don't know the specifics of the case, but to me, and it's kind of a general thing when I hear you guys talk, I hear, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and a lot of desire, and I guess my instincts tell me that even the way you're kind of talking about this in a way is kind of playing into the playbook here that's on the other team. And to me, I forget about what the specific outrage is, the outrage of the day or the outrage of the week. I mean, you got to look at what they're doing. And, it's the same old predictable MO that they've been running for 10 or 20 years. And it's used as outrage as a tool. And it's one to intimidate. It doesn't matter what Biden does, nor did it matter what Obama did, nor did it matter what Clinton did, nor would it matter what any Democratic president or candidate
does matter, though, Jack.
No. But what I'm saying is their reaction is independent of content. Their reaction is it's simply an MO. It's the same thing as, if you run across somebody on the street who you just kind of ask politely, could you kind of move your car so I could pull into that parking space? And there's this over the top reaction in your face, yelling and screaming at you. So how dare you, da 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 da? And there's an over the top outrage, which is designed to basically intimidate and to cause you to question, the basis that your moral and ethical foundation. That's what this is all about. Forget about what they're outraged about. It doesn't matter. And I think that's the thing that really is what we're facing here. It's not whether Biden pardoned his son. It's whether it's literally we're in an environment where anything that a Democratic leader or president does is going to be, there's a machinery that's set up and running.
All right. So all right. Can you wind it up, please? Because we're getting short on time.
That's it. I guess my concern is to hear people like you with a lot of good energy and a lot of good intelligence to kind of, essentially, why are we even talking about this, frankly?
We're talking about it because it's an important point, but I can hear from a lot of the callers today, it's not.
Yeah, thank you, Jack, for calling in
Jack.
today.
All right.
So I think we should. We're getting entangled in this thing. What I found out today is that I would like to think that my thoughts are shaped in large part by my experience. And I understand that people have different experiences, different accomplishments, different credentials that bring them to different conclusions, although we're looking at the same things. I think what I found out today was I confirmed what I was litigating as a bias, that people will not support something just because it's their team member that's doing it. But I got a dual confirmation today that, and I'm going to say this, and I know that you guys will understand it, people will support something because it's someone like them, and people will support something because it's someone like them. And they don't interrogate it. And that's been my lesson for the last 3 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. They will not interrogate it if it confirms their bias. And so what I've been doing is confirming my bias. When someone comes up to scold me and they don't ask me any questions, right? When people call in and I don't understand what they're trying to say, I ask them probing questions to gain clarification. But if you call me and you give me your CV and then you proceed to tell me that I'm doing it wrong, right? And you scold me without ever asking me a single question, well, you've told me what you think of me. Mm-hmm. And then I tell you what I think of that. And somehow that turns into poor person, whomever it is, right?
Poor, yeah.
3 weeks of this now I've had.
Because, yeah, you're right. She came up on, and her CV was the first thing she threw out there.
And when was the election? It was on the 5th, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so this stuff has been going on since the 5th. And I have to say this. I am not a martyr by any means, okay? None of this is about me. There's almost 400 million people in this country, right? And there's a lot going on. People can't get their health claims. Women can't get an abortion in Texas. We don't have full abortion rights, reproductive rights in the state of Florida. We don't know who the new IRS is going to go after. Old folks don't have any Medicare. Right. I'm about to be an old folk here in very shortly, and I don't know what my retirement is going to look like. Yeah, there are a lot of things going on in this country. A lot.
And we can't cover them all in 1 hour.
We can't cover them all, but why should we be chastised for covering one?
Right.
I don't understand the chagrin.
I don't either. But this is exactly what I was talking about, this visceral response from moderate Democrats to any criticism of Biden. And it's like, and particularly with the Hunter thing. And it's like, I would turn in my own son. I would let him serve his time because you know what? He was found guilty. That's why. Anyway, Frank just gave me the finger. So it's time to wrap it up. So thank you so much for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Please tune in again next week.
Thank you.
I like diamonds. I like stunning.
This is WMNF Tampa. Stay tuned for Economic Update.
Support from the production of Economic Update comes in part from